Hi, and welcome back to Black and Brown Crowns, the show where beautiful Black and Brown women speak about their career experiences. I'm Cheyenne, your host, and today we'll be speaking to Miss T about how to become a personnel security specialist. Hi, Miss T. How are you? And thank you for coming and joining me today.
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
On this show, I like to begin with how you started as a kid to where it led you into your position today. So, with that being said, let's get started. What were you interested in as a young girl?
As a young girl, I think I was interested in music. I love music, and my favorite singer was Whitney Houston. And I wanted to be Whitney Houston, but God had other plans, so that didn't happen.
Other than music, were there any other things that you were interested in?
I did want to become a lawyer. Um, and I think that's one of the reasons why once I got older, I decided to do like security. So I was a security officer for about, I want to say about 5 years. And then I branched off from being a security guard to actually being a personnel security specialist.
So you said that you wanted to be a lawyer, and it ended up to you being a security guard, which then translated into you being a security specialist. When did you realize that this is something you wanted to pursue? Although you started out as a security guard, that leads you to your position today.
I actually was working for a government agency as a contractor, and I basically was fingerprinting all the people that came into our office, the ones that were trying to come on board for that agency. And eventually they lost the contract. But the new contract then company that was coming on board, the project manager was like, I always see you working so hard in here. I'm going to go ahead and hire you as a personnel security assistant. So I was like, okay. And from there, I enjoyed it. I got promoted several times. And eventually the newcomers at the security agency, I had to train them, every single one of them that came on board. That's when I knew that this is the job that I really liked, and I wanted to stick with it. I deal with background investigations, and I have to talk to different government agencies to see if I can use a case, or even the FBI with fingerprint results and checks and stuff like that. I felt that it was interesting. So I stuck with it. And that was back in 2010. And I am still working as, instead of an assistant, I'm a specialist.
So this job was more so something that you kind of fell into, or somebody just said, "Hey, would you like to do this instead?" Did they have to track if you had a degree or not? Like, does this position require a degree?
No, well, the position itself as an assistant, you do not need a degree. All you need is a high school diploma. But to get far into this career, you would need at least a bachelor's degree. There's different levels to personnel security specialist, or working in personal security, period. So when you first start out, if you are an assistant, you would only need a high school diploma. Even with becoming a specialist, if you're not an adjudicator, you would still just need a high school diploma. But when you get to like supervisory positions and adjudication positions, you would need a bachelor's degree.
Thank you for that clarification. I know that you said that obviously at different roles you will have more responsibility and more things that your bosses will trust you with. So what would your typical workload or typical day look like from day to day?
Busy, very busy. So on a busy day, we'll probably get maybe 10 cases, but within the 10 cases, you have so many different tasks to accomplish before the end of the day. Someone comes in and they need an investigation. Okay, the human resources department, they will send down a security package. In that package, you will find out what their position description is. And then from there, that's when you will find out what level investigation is required for that position. So I have to go into different portals like OPM website to find out if this person actually has an investigation on file. If they don't, I have to initiate them for their investigation. And I also have to reach out to the FBI to request fingerprints. From there, if a person has a criminal record, there's so many different branches. So if they have a criminal record, I have to find out what the issue is. And if they don't have an investigation, like I said, I have to initiate them. All of this is the process for them to actually be able to work for our agency. And then you have to update so many different trackers. It's time consuming, it's a lot, but I really enjoy doing it.
You rather have to go through an investigation or start an investigation? I feel like when you're starting an investigation, although you may have said a little bit about it, there is more than likely a lot of stuff that goes into starting that investigation or being in the middle of an investigation. So I applaud you for that.
Yes, it's a lot, but once you get the hang of it, it's so much fun. Learn, different people's backgrounds. It's like you get the good and the bad because you never know by looking at a person what they have either done or, if they're qualified to even work for, the government.
Which is nice because if, like you said, you get the good and the bad, and I don't know how I feel if I got the bad and be like, they're trying to work for us? Oh, I don't know about that. But it's also really good because you get to learn you get to learn more information about people, and I feel as though if you are learning more about people, you're expanding your knowledge to something you may not have known already, whether about a person or about a specific group of people. So I think that's really cool. Saying that your job is very busy from day to day, how do you balance the work life situation? Like, does it interfere with your personal life, or do you have like a time where this may be work, but now I have the weekends off? Like, how do you balance that?
Set boundaries. I have a schedule because I'm in school and I'm a mother of three on top of working. So work is work. I have my 9 to 5 schedule. I try not to go past that because, like I said, I still have to check homework and make dinner. So I don't have time to let it cross over that time frame. Although in my mind is still trickling. Did I forget something about work? Do I need to do something extra? And some days I might go in late, like later in the evening, just to make sure that I've done everything possible so I can be prepared for the next day.
I like that you said setting boundaries because I think it's really hard for us to set boundaries, especially if you work from home, because now you're working at home. Although it's work, you're still at home, and we cross those lines of like not knowing when to let go of work if we're at home. So definitely setting those boundaries, like you said, like 9 to 5. Okay, now I have to work with my kids, now I have to work with myself, and I think that's really good that you set those boundaries.
Yeah, you just don't want to overwhelm yourself to where you don't want to do anything.
You actually led into my next question, which was, if you don't have those boundaries, do you get burnout from this job?
You can. You really can. And the best way to avoid getting burnt out is ask questions. Give yourself a moment, so that you can regroup because it is a lot. It's a lot to take in and on top of your everyday thing. And being as though that you're home, like you said, I have a 5-year-old, so she's running all day long while I'm trying to do my work, you know? But I get it done. So like I say, sometimes you have to step away from it. I know that I do. I handle what I need to handle with that little one, and then I come back. Or sometimes it's too many things going on in my mind from work. So I have to sit down and write, prioritize what needs to happen first so I don't feel overwhelmed.
I feel like with any job, if you don't know how to separate yourself, it can easily lead to burnout. But like you said, writing those down and making your priorities straight, it lessens that burnout. Were there anything that you were surprised about? Like you mentioned the good and the bad, so were there some bad aspects of the job, whether you had to work long hours or work on the weekends? What were those surprising aspects?
I wouldn't necessarily say for me there are bad aspects, but some of the things that might come across your desk will have your eyes like, what were you into when you were younger, or even in your adulthood? Those type of things, like you have your eyebrows raised. You have to pay attention to detail because you could really, hurt your job, your position if you do not. But I don't think there has been anything bad that comes across my mind.
Have you ever been in a situation where you had to find strategies to navigate through a professional environment as a woman of color?
Or you're not being looked at because you might have, a Caucasian woman that has the same experience.
Has COVID ever affected your career?
I think growth is the most rewarding part of the job.
Well, for those individuals who want to learn more about your position as being a specialist, where can they find more information?